Welcome to the All You Can Geek podcast, the movie edition. This is episode 353. Is that right? I should have double checked that before we started.
It looks like it.
All right, got it. I'm Corey Feinsod, and with me today is Tony Kokonakis.
Yo!
And Mike Snitty.
What's up?
No Jim tonight. He is out and about, but we will be doing a Spider-Man spoiler cast that he is going to be joining us on. There's no way he's going to miss that after the discussions in Slack that we had. I'm sure if you guys want to join that conversation, definitely hit us up. Send us an email at allyoucangeek.net or podcast at allyoucangeek.net, and you can join in our conversations on Slack. We talk about all sorts of stuff. But to get into it, we're going to go right into the box office. And there was a little bit of a controversy, not controversy, but with us, the podcast group here, I was totally on the other side. I thought that Spider-Man was going to be number one.
Yep.
And it was not.
Same.
So we had War for the Planet of the Apes coming in at number one with $56.5 million.
Pathetic.
That's what I thought Spider-Man was going to do, actually.
Yeah, I thought Spider-Man would be around there.
So, yeah, a little... I mean, you have to say it's disappointing for Spider-Man, but is it disappointing for War of the Planet of the Apes? A third movie in the trilogy, like the last one?
Yep.
They're not, well, I mean,
more from that?
Yep.
How much has their previous ones done? Like, what is their audience?
The first one did almost, I think it did 600 million, I want to say, or 700 million.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes did 72.5, which was the sequel to Planet of the Apes, I believe. So, I mean, that's much lower than its predecessor.
To be fair, it's also coming out a week after Spider-Man.
Sure, but Spider-Man's drop-off was the largest drop-off a Marvel movie has had ever.
I understand that, but, two pretty, big movies, all things considered, is releasing a week from each other. They're going to both hurt each other, and I think that happened here.
Fatigue.
I still think there was more money.
Sequelitis. Absolutely.
I mean, that is the biggest problem, and you look at those lists here, and
I do also think a lot of the
sequels,
the marketing for Apes was sort of swallowed by Spider-Man.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think we saw much.
I don't think that. I think there might have been a handful, maybe more than a handful, but a portion of people who were maybe interested in Apes and had no idea it was even coming out.
Sure, yeah. Fair enough. Well, speaking of Spider-Man, it came in number 2. We talked about it, the largest drop-off of a Marvel film, which was at 62% drop-off. It made $45.2 million domestically this week. Although it's killing it worldwide, it's at $470 million worldwide.
Yeah. It's still chugging along. It's just the weekend-to-weekend drop was bad. The holdups for the dailies were pretty good. I think it was keeping pace with Suicide Squad and even Guardians on the weekdays.
Right. And that's something that, it gets kind of forgotten about because it's always these weekend numbers. But when you look at the totals, it's
also, due to summer. That's why
right.
Summer movies get a bit of a leg up with that. Sure.
Number 3, Despicable Me 3. And that's...
Whatever.
That is a beast. I mean, it's at only 19 million this week, but 620 million worldwide. So, still making money.
Still making money. I don't know if it's going to do as well as the second one did.
Yeah. I mean, you look at 619 or 20 million it's at, and it's like, that's still not as much as the last one. Number 4, Baby Driver at almost 9, and then The Big Sick coming in at number 5 with 7.5. So there's your top 5. Let's move into the movie news here, guys. We did talk a little bit about Disney stuff, but we're gonna save D3 for a little bit later here. We're gonna just take a moment because I would like to acknowledge that GeorgeARomero passed away, and if you don't know who he is, he basically created the zombie movie and changed the way that films are made, really.
Yep.
And I just wanted to say, like, my condolences. We, our obviously our best wishes are with the family. And unfortunately, he wasn't the only one that passed away this weekend. There were a bunch of, not like A-listers, but there was a bunch of names that passed away this weekend. Like Martin Landau passed away, and actually a stunt man from The Walking Dead passed away on set recently too. Which I just want to say again, our wishes are with the families. But moving along, let's go to Bumblebee, the movie, because that is going to happen. The Transformers spinoff is happening, and apparently they're getting a $22 million tax break from California. And I don't know why, but I feel like every time a Transformers film comes out, there is a tax break article or news story that they're getting. Does that feel like maybe they're shooting on locations that they know they're going to get tax breaks, and does that hurt the story at all?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a story, but
I don't know. I felt like I saw this and I'm like, wait, didn't we just hear that they got like huge tax breaks for being in China and like obviously all the marketing and code.
I mean, a lot of movies do this.
Right, but I don't know. It seems like it's always a news story with the Transformers films. I don't know. I feel like it comes up a lot.
I don't know.
I mean, it's after what the last film did, it seemed like they need to make a change, and I think this is a good move to kind of step away from Optimus and Megatron and hopefully make it something a little more smaller scale.
Yeah. So
I think that could help. And if they kind of make it a soft reboot here and try to change things a little bit, that could work for them. So I just hope it doesn't have Mark Wahlberg in it. That's all.
Yeah, I don't care for Mark Wahlberg. I mean,
no,
whatever. But I mean, as long as the movies are still somewhat profitable and they're selling toys, I mean, that's the end line there.
Yeah, that's what these are for, really. Marketing for the merchandise.
Yep.
All right, moving on. We have the Game of Thrones premiere. Now, I don't know if everyone here watches Game
What's
of
that?
Thrones, but
I think I heard of that.
It's this little weird fantasy story about some kings and queens, and they're fighting over some throne. But apparently it's popular enough to crash the HBO website. And I don't know who... If you haven't heard of Game of Thrones, or if you don't know what Game of Thrones is, I don't know who you are if you're listening to this podcast, honestly.
Yeah,
like,
how'd you find us?
What are you doing? Get out of here. Listen to like NPR or something. And even on NPR they talked about it, so... but yeah, seriously, did you watch it, Tony?
Of course.
Okay. Let's make it short. How about you, Mike? Do you follow this at all? I don't know if...
No.
I know you watch Walking Dead and everything, but... Yeah, Game of Thrones premiered. I saw it as well. We could probably talk about it more later. But real quick, I thought it was pretty good. What about you, Tony?
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it started off great.
That cold opening, man... That's what I should have started the podcast with. I mean, damn. It's like, tell them tell them winter has come for House Frey. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah, the North remembers.
Yes. But yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But let's get into a little bit of the D3 stuff, because Disney had their... D23. D3.
That's not the third Mighty Ducks.
Yeah. Disney had their small convention for everything Disney. A lot of news for movies, obviously Marvel, Star Wars, and obviously the Disney properties. We got a lot of stuff here. And first thing on that I just want to mention real quick was The Incredibles 2, which is probably my favorite Pixar film. I don't know about you guys, but kind of right in my wheelhouse. And that's coming, and it's going to take place right after the first one ended. So
yeah,
it's not immediately after, like pretty quick, like pretty soon after. Like, what was that? The Underminer, like, was at the end there or something?
Yeah.
And then you have Jack with some crazy abilities. So we'll see if they do like a time jump or whatnot. But I'm excited to see a sequel for this film because they keep pumping out these sequels for other movies that I don't really care too much about. So finally making one that I do care about is kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for a sequel. I'm a little disappointed that it's so soon after the first one ended. It just feels like after all this time has passed in real life, there should have been some gaps. Especially when you go from like Toy Story 1 to Toy Story 2 to Toy Story 3. There's like huge gaps.
Yeah.
And this one was even longer.
Yeah, and it makes sense because the characters grow. Even like Andy specifically kind of grows up and how it affects the toys and stuff. So here, I would have like I said, maybe they'll do a time jump or something, but I would have liked to see them kind of established, more comfortable with their powers, and working together as a team, as a family. There, that would be interesting.
Right. I'm just curious to what kind of character growth or development they can have in such a short time span, And
as well as like, how does the world accept these characters again? Like, because at the beginning of that film, we know that, the majority of the film, superheroes really were not cared for. People didn't want them around. Like, basically, they were like told to go away, and now they got a superhero family back, and we got all these supervillains coming back. So it'll be interesting. But moving along the D23 announcements here. I guess we can kind of go real quick through some of this stuff and then delve a little deeper into the Marvel stuff if you guys want to do that.
Sure.
Yeah, so Aladdin, the live-action Aladdin film has cast its 2 leads, and I'm not going to probably pronounce these names correctly. Well, maybe the second one, but Mina Massoud is cast as Aladdin.
I would guess Mossad, but maybe.
Okay,
I don't know. I don't know. It's not
I'm just
true.
Going phonetically. And Naomi Scott is cast as Jasmine. So they are kind of making sure to go with the, they're trying to go more true to the characters instead of whitewashing them, as a lot of these movies apt to do.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see all the backlash over the years for that kind of stuff.
I'll tell you right now, I just searched Naomi Scott, and the first thing I see, Disney criticized for casting Naomi Scott as Jasmine.
Oh, jeez.
Because I guess her nationality is she's British, but I don't know what her...
I mean, I'm American, is. But I don't look like I'm from, like, a Eastern European, like, country or something. Just because I'm American doesn't mean I can't be Asian at the same time.
She is of mixed British and Gujarati descent.
So
I don't know what that is.
Like, she is not a Caucasian, completely Caucasian. I think she looks fine. She's got the exotic look to her, so it works. And
but not too exotic.
As Genie. Now, are we talking like Fresh Prince Will Smith?
Oh yeah.
I hope so.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even see that until just now, actually.
Oh, really?
I'm like, wait a second here.
I thought you were joking.
No, I mean, like, I kind of just looked at the leads, and I didn't even read the end of the sentence or the last part of the paragraph here, and I'm like, oh, wow, cool. So, that's interesting. Didn't expect that. How do you guys feel?
Well, if you have to make a freaking live-action Genie, I guess he's all right.
Well, he's going to be computer animated. There's no way he's going to be the Fresh Prince popping out.
Why not?
Because
the Genie has to be a big blue marshmallow man, or, he's still pretty much a human.
With how Beauty and the Beast destroyed the box office by basically making a shot remake.
That at least for part of it, he will be Will Smith.
Maybe for a few. Yeah,
they're not going to have Will Smith in there and not have him just be like a person for part of it.
It's the same thing like with the animated film. Like he did like the Jack Nicholson impression or something. He'll probably do a Will Smith Fresh Prince impression or some shit like that. But he's not going to be, a black guy in a Genie outfit.
I don't know. I think that might be his human form that he takes on for like a bit.
Possibly. I don't see it. I think they're gonna.
If you're going more realistic, because you have to.
But the thing is, that's what they're trying.
What is he gonna look like?
Well, it's gonna be computer animated. I mean,
So you're gonna have
Beauty and the Beast?
No, I did not.
All right.
But I know what you're talking about, but that's different. He's a beast. He's supposed to be that way. The Aladdin genie is essentially humanoid, just sort of big and blue. That's it. He's a normal-looking person. He's just big and blue and ghost-looking.
Yeah, he's going to be ghost-looking and big and blue.
So you think he's going to be as cartoonishly exaggerated, or do you think they'll just have blue, ghostly Will Smith?
I think he's going to be much more...
computer animated.
Yeah, I think he's going to be
majority computer animated.
The animated.
I'm willing to bet on this, too.
I just think that... I don't know. I don't know if that fits. I don't know how much they are going
look at what they've done with the other live-action films. They didn't make all of the animals in Jungle Book like people.
That's because there were animals throughout.
Yeah, this is a genie.
The genie is basically a person.
Yeah, but they didn't make Ron Williams.
It's just a person.
Sure, he's
just a person without legs.
He's got a humanoid form, but he's still... there is an iconic look to the genie. You can't argue that.
Yeah, but he's a person. Like,
what are you arguing? That he's going to have 2 feet?
Look at
Jafar, I don't understand.
How different Jafar changed when he became a genie.
I just don't...
Will Smith. He may do an impression for like...
They're going to cast Will Smith only for his voice.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sure his face will be probably a little bit based on Will Smith.
It'll be like the Hulk, where like they use his facial expressions to create emotions and emote his different lines.
Gestures.
Exactly. But he's not going to be Will Smith in like a genie outfit. That would just be too ridiculous. I think he even did that in Fresh Prince one time, right? He wore a genie outfit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably. All right, let's keep going here.
Just talk about things we don't know about. It's cool.
A Wrinkle in Time. Have you guys read this book?
Nope.
Not myself.
I think I read, or was
I think I read this.
To me, maybe. I don't know. It's been a long time. I don't remember anything, and I didn't check out the trailers, so I apologize. But I can't tell you anything more about this. It's got Oprah Winfrey in it, so there you go. I heard that it's supposed to be very good, though, the trailer. Dumbo, a live-action Dumbo is happening, and they set the release for March 29th, 2019. And I think that's being done by Tim Burton. So it's going to be creepy.
Yeah.
It's a little too creepy. For me, at least. They did talk about The Lion King, which Jon Favreau will be directing, so I'm sure that's going to be pretty good. And they're not doing like humanoid characters like a stage play or anything. It's going to be the animals again, of course. Mary Poppins returns, and that stars what's her name? From Age of Tomorrow.
Emily.
Yes.
Blunt.
But Emily Blunt. Yep. So she's going to be Mary Poppins, and Lin-Manuel Miranda is going to be in that as well, as the Dick Van Dyke character, I believe. So that'll be interesting, because either Guardians had some of the best, like, hey, guess what, guys? We got a Mary Poppins movie coming. Let's throw a Mary Poppins line in there, or it was just perfect timing.
I hope because of that whole thing, like, he gets like a cameo in the movie. That'd be great.
That would be hilarious. Yeah, just to see
the actor. I forget his
name. Michael Rooker, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That would be hilarious. Mulan got pushed back from 2018 to 2019, and that's another live action. They're really going all in on these live action movies based off of their animated films here.
Oh yeah, I mean, they already have the framework done.
Rather than make new animated films, let's just remake everything live action. Why not?
Well, it's surprising because like Cinderella didn't do very well, I don't think, and
that's because no one was like alive who watches stuff now when that was like a new thing. All of this stuff is from the 90s.
And what was the other one?
Maleficent.
Maleficent, thank you. I couldn't say the word there. But that one, I think, did okay. But, like, Beauty and the Beast just... Oh, my God. That's...
What year did Dumbo come out?
Dumbo was one of their first ones. Like
Dumbo, I don't think that's going to do well because of that.
It's possible.
What year did Jungle Book come out?
Jungle Book has had like remakes over and over again. People had, Tailspin and shit like that. Everyone knew
Cinderella was remade over and over again.
But Cinderella has like no. Everyone knows this story, and it's just sort of like.
I just think that
the generic story. No one's gonna get too excited about Cinderella.
Different from the cartoon, actually, is what they did there.
So, I think they took too much creative liberty for it.
Moving on to Disney Animation here. Coco, they showed some stuff, which is the new Pixar film, I think. Kind of like the Day of the Dead Mexican flavor to it. Kind of musical stuff going on there. Toy Story 4 is coming. And they have a bunch of untitled stuff. They showed some Star Wars things, some new posters, and a behind-the-scenes video for The Last Jedi. I did not check any of that out because I'm going to be trying to go as clean as possible, I guess. But,
clean.
But the biggest news, and you can't not read it, but Marvel, they brought everyone that's going to be in, not everyone, but almost everyone that's going to be in Infinity War out on stage. I think the big names that were missing were Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson, but almost everyone else was there.
Hawkeye was not there.
Hawkeye was not there. He broke both his arms, apparently.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it wasn't even on that movie. It was on a different movie.
Didn't he get hurt on some other film he was in?
Probably. I think it was Avengers 1 or something.
Probably. I do remember something about that, yeah.
It might have been like Born Supremacy, too. I'm not... Or, what is it? Legacy? Whatever.
I don't know, but the article came out saying that he broke his arms on Infinity War set, but then they did an update and said no, it was on the movie Tag, which is a movie based on the game Tag.
Broke his arms playing Tag. Okay.
Yes. So yeah, I don't know how that's going to affect his Hawkeye performance, but I think they said it shouldn't affect it too much.
I'm sure he'll have CGI arms.
Possibly. But yeah, so that was a crazy moment. And did you guys get to check any of that footage out of them coming out on stage?
Yeah, I did.
No.
I watched it too. I mean, that was awesome.
That was pretty hype, actually.
Yeah. Dude, just bringing people out. And obviously they started with Josh Brolin, who's playing Thanos, and then they just keep bringing people out. And Spiderman, Tom Holland comes out. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy to see all those guys there. And to think that they're going to be 64 Marvel characters in Infinity War. Obviously not side characters, but significant characters that you would know from the comics. It's going to be huge, this film. And they showed a 5-minute trailer teaser to the audience. And obviously nobody was able to film it, so they came out with a bunch of the descriptions for this trailer. Did you read those, Tony?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I was trying not to.
No, I even read it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not? It's just 5 minutes, significant. That's significant amount of footage that they're showing.
I can't believe they had the balls to even do that and didn't get any leaks at all.
Yeah, so I don't know. Does anybody have that? Do you guys want to go over it?
If I had it up, I would, but I don't have it up right now.
Okay, I have...
All I remember is Thanos can control lightning.
Well, I don't think they said that.
No, that's not what I read at all.
He rained something down from the sky.
So
yeah, he did. It wasn't lightning.
I don't remember.
Okay.
So basically, they say he basically brings a moon closer to Earth, or to not Earth, to wherever they are, right? Isn't that what they said? Something like that.
So it's like his move in Marvel versus
Capcom. I got the description. Here you go. There you go. The rest of the trailer showed the Guardians actively working with the Avengers, and the bulk of the latter half of the footage showed them fighting Thanos directly. One showdown involved Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Star-Lord, and others had them fighting against Thanos on what looked like a wrecked Asgard or some other planet among the realms. At the end of the footage, Thanos curls his fist, causes a planet behind him to explode, and then hurls the destroyed pieces down through the atmosphere at those he's fighting. So, Yeah,
it's like his move from Marvel vs. Capcom 2, where I thought he was just some monkey guy.
And I don't know, he has to come out and just fuck people up. If he does not do that,
he's one-shotting Vision. He's just one-shotting Vision.
Please, I don't even want. Yeah, exactly. I don't even want some struggle. Or like, he's fighting back. No, that can't happen here.
Yeah, it's just a one-hit KO. Like, boom.
These guys, like, that has to happen because the tease from 2012. We're like, this is 10 years in the making here, but like they've been teasing Thanos for the past 5 years. Like, if he doesn't come out and just like fuck people up, that's gonna be a huge disappointment. And so apparently, like, the trailer that they showed starts with Thor hitting the Guardians of the Galaxy's ship, the Milano, and so they bring him on board, and he wakes up there, and it's like, who the fuck are you? And so I mean, that's pretty. It's finally happening where the Guardians are meeting the Avengers, which is pretty cool too.
So is this movie going to be 5 hours long?
I mean, it's got to be more than Spider-Man. And Spider-Man was like close to 2.5.
Spider-Man right? Felt kind of long.
It did. I mean, I think this probably is going to be like the 2.5 range.
And that's why they have. So since this is in parts 1 and 2, do we think like?
I don't think they're doing parts. I think it's going to be Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet or something.
But since they're sort of originally, it was going to be parts, and
right. But they are coming back to back, though, right, Tony?
Yeah, they're going to be out pretty close to each other, right?
Like 20, do we think May this year or next year, May 2019?
Do you think there's even like any ounce of victory in the first movie?
I'm kind of
Thanos. Yes.
No, for the good guys.
No.
So I think that the way this has to be set up to incorporate everyone, you have to get the meetings and the little funny exchanges like the Thor thing between pretty much everyone. You got to get Thanos first destroying maybe some world that no one cares about, because you know that's going to happen first.
Alderaan.
Yes, you're going to get your Alderaan. And then you're going to get an encounter, someone or whatever is going to die, and that might be the end of the first movie.
I really hope more than one person dies.
Well, I mean, like, at least whatever happens is going to be significant enough where it's like, really regroup, retreat, be sad.
That the end of this film is similar, and not necessarily, like, the same, but just similar to Empire, into that, like, they're not in the greatest position right now. Like, Thanos has to come out on top here, in my opinion.
By the end of the first movie.
Right, by the end of the first movie, because it would just be hugely disappointing if Thanos is just not coming out on top, because of how much they've teased him and how powerful he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, you have the Guardians, you have the Avengers, all these people coming together to fight this one character, and they did announce some of the other characters that are going to be there with him, the children of Thanos.
Yeah.
But like, have him like bring all these people together and then him be a bitch, like, that would just be terrible.
I doubt he'll be a bitch, but the real question is, like, what are the extent of his powers? Because I actually did a little research. I never read the Infinity War comic, but I researched a little bit of what happened in it, and you know, he basically can just transform anything into anything and create anything out of anything, which is obviously super broken.
When he
so,
has
like, how
the
do
Infinity Gauntlet with all the gems, he is the most powerful being in the Marvel universe.
I just don't understand how you, like, make fights like that compelling.
It's his hubris. I mean, that's the only thing that really takes him down.
I don't even. Yeah, I'm not like actually reading what happens in that. I'm like, well, I hope it really doesn't play out like this, because it seems kind of dumb. But
it won't.
He still needs to be powerful, perhaps in a different way. But I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot going on. I just
hope
here.
Thanos comes in and just fucks shit up and just owns the entire Avengers, Guardians.
He definitely is. This is going to be like a huge turning point for the entire MCU.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm expecting Vision just to get owned right away for his stone.
Gem is mine.
Yeah. If anything, I can actually kind of see, you know, Corey, what you're talking about, like an Empire ending where the heroes barely scrape by, you know, by the skin of their teeth, but, you know, lose the battle, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I'm kind of thinking is maybe something like because Doctor Strange has one of the stones. I can see him maybe like teleporting it off planet just to get Thanos to, you know, go off planet again, and buy them some time to, you know, regroup and whatnot. Or I could be completely wrong, and the next Avengers movie takes place minutes after, you know, Infinity War. But it doesn't.
Do you think he has all the gems at the end of this movie?
Probably.
Yes. I think the very last shot will probably
I think him. I do too. It's gonna be like the Harry Potter with Voldemort getting the Elder Wand or whatever, which spoiler, he doesn't. But I definitely think he has them all at the end of this film, and that just like makes it even more like daunting, the task that the Avengers have. And obviously they broke them up with Civil War so that they have to come back together kind of in this movie and resolve their differences. But I don't know. I just don't know. Again, we'll find out what's going on with Hulk maybe too, I guess, and Ragnarok and where they'll be. But I don't know. Like, do you like what? I guess that's hard to put this into words. It's just like, what are they gonna do though to stop him once he has the gauntlet? Like, once he has the Infinity Gauntlet with all the gems, like I said, I think the only thing that really stops him is just his hubris and like his ego.
They'll just have Chris Pratt dance at him, and then someone will
they don't
slip
have
the glove off. That's all. Just get him into a dance battle and take his glove off.
Oh, jeez. It'll be something silly like that. I don't know.
Now, the other thing is, you know, the description so far, nobody has mentioned, and this is what I was saying, you know, a year and some months ago, that nobody has talked about footage, like the 5-minute trailer or whatever. None of the characters seem to have been on Cap's side from Civil War. Everybody's been on, you know, Team Iron Man.
Right.
I mean, you even look at the promotional, you know, you see Captain America there, but...
Didn't they say Scarlet Witch was in this?
I'm sure she's in it, but I'm saying I'm still going by, you know, it's Iron Man's Avengers are
I see what you're saying. Just like,
you know, the Guardians
face off with Guardians or Thanos first is basically
right, and then Captain America and his crew
of
the Secret Avengers come up, and you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, like I said, they kind of have to come back together, and I think Thanos is what brings them together.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thanos killing Cap.
Yeah. The other rumor going around was that Hela, is that her name from Thor Ragnarok?
Mm-hmm.
Is going to be kind of taking the place of Death in the comic. In the comic, Thanos does everything for Death. Death is an actual character in the comic, and Thanos...
Yeah, I think that's way too abstract for the MCU, so I could see that.
And so Death, they haven't introduced that character, and it would make more sense if... You know, I think it was Hela, right? Is that her name?
I think so.
Something very similar to that.
So that would make sense, and especially if you get a character or an actor like Kate Blanchett to appear in a movie, like you might not want to just have her in one film.
Right.
So, that would be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, I mean, the hype for this, man, off the charts right now.
Yeah. That's what they're talking.
Like the look.
10 years in the making. 10 years.
The look of the Thanos like statue that they have, I'm assuming is gonna be pretty close to what he's gonna look like in the movie. Looks fantastic. His the children of Thanos look pretty interesting. We'll have to see how that turns out. I'm guessing they're gonna be mostly CGI. Those guys.
Yeah, they're just too out there in terms of design.
But yeah, so I mean that's D23, and obviously the Marvel stuff for us was the big news that came out, especially with all that that they showed, and I'm super jealous of the people that got to see that.
The 5 minutes. Well, I mean, San Diego Comic-Con is happening by the time most of you guys are listening to this. San Diego Comic-Con will have started, so there's a fair chance that we'll get to see it this weekend.
It could get leaked out. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they could show it themselves. That
I doubt that kind of stuff they want to like give to the attendees of these types of things, you know.
Sure, but I mean, even like a 1 or 2 minute teaser. We'll see.
It's possible, yeah.
I mean,
gotta start that hype train.
Yeah, they gotta start that hype train. I mean, this is the best place to start that hype train.
Yep.
And then,
the one other thing I wanted to point out that came out of D23 was Mark Ruffalo said that there will be no standalone Hulk film because Universal does not want to make money. Is basically what it came down to paraphrase him. Universal Studios still owns the distribution rights to Hulk, and they just don't want to play with Marvel and create a solo Hulk film, which does not make sense to me. I don't get that, just because, and I talked about it before on this podcast, like, I'm disappointed that Ragnarok is kind of taking the place of Planet Hulk, one of my favorite comic book storylines of all time, and we're going to get it mashed into a Thor movie.
Yeah.
And that's because I think
it's
Universal's
company
meddling.
bullshit. Yeah, well, I mean, it has nothing to do with the actual movies. It's because the parent companies, Disney and Universal, are combating over, entertainment park space down in Florida. So just, bad blood between the companies, and, that's why. So. And
it's hard to, like, how can you have bad blood when you're making money? Like, Hulk in Avengers is making you money. Like,
I don't know how much they're making off of that.
Sure, but, like, they could be making money. Just like we saw with Sony. Like, you can be, like, if you want to play together, like, it's just gonna make more money for everyone. And, the rumor with Spider-Man, like, having that 6-film deal, and the way that the new Sony executives are not happy with that deal. Have you heard that yet? Like,
no, I didn't see that.
They're possibly, like, they're talking about, like, not renewing that deal, and that's partly why Venom and Black and Silver are not part of the MCU, because they want to build that universe for when they get Spider-Man back for themselves.
See, if they really think that, they're fucking dumb. I'm sorry.
Because the woman who, like, struck the deal with Marvel is no longer in power because of the whole email thing.
Yeah.
So, like, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, but, like, I could see it happening because that's how executives work. I mean, that's how they.
They just need to let Marvel do their thing and get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, I mean,
Marvel just makes a movie and they collect the fucking paycheck. That's all they need to do.
Yeah, like, the thing is, they did have the largest drop, which we talked about earlier, but at the same time, it is making so much money, and the fact that it's in these other films, which are going to be making a complete, like, in Spider-Man is in these other films, it's just making more money for you because you get a piece of that. Like, the more money,
right? Sony has nothing else right now for their movie business. Yeah. They have nothing.
And like you were saying in Slack too, Tom, like, there is Spider-Man fatigue because Sony didn't know how to develop the character or market the character properly, and it really killed the Spider-Man name in films. Like, merchandising, it's still ridiculous, hundreds of millions of dollars more than any other character. But in the film industry, it's just not as welcoming, and we saw that with this drop-off, which is kind of surprising. Yeah, it's a solid film, and we're going to talk about it. It's just not here because we're going to do a spoiler cast.
Well, the thing is, I think it's just there's fatigue because it's basically another Spider-Man movie, and I think 2017 has proven that for the most part, all these mega franchises, people are just getting tired of. I mean, you look at everything that was a sequel this year. Fast and the Furious, Transformers, Pirates of the Caribbean, even Despicable Me 3, 50 Shades Darker. All this stuff is down. All of it is down. So it's just, people are getting tired of seeing this. And those, don't even have 6 movies like Spider-Man has. So, it's just, I think people were like, another Spider-Man movie, I'll see that at some point. But I think hopefully the good word of mouth from this movie drums up the excitement for the next one, Because
I do think that the reboot factor, though, is something, too, to have your third Spider-Man actor within 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I mean, didn't you even say, like, your fiance was just like, I don't want to do another origin story or something?
And this was, well, I guess we get into that later. It was almost, but not quite. I would say it's almost an origin story, but not quite. It's, like, literally, like, right after the origin part.
Yeah, I think that they did it properly. I mean, you couldn't do the Uncle Ben death.
I'm glad they did.
You can't do, like, I got bit by a spider thing again, like that. You couldn't do that.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do it, because it was fucking dumb when they did it with Batman and BBS.
I mean, like, even with Incredible Hulk, they did that properly. Like, they did a credit sequence that lasted maybe 5 minutes to like tell you the backstory of what happened with him, and then just like, all right, now we're in this movie. Like, you don't need that. Everybody knows these stories. Everybody knows how he got his powers and that he has a loss and stuff. And I can't wait to talk about some of the with great power comes great responsibility. They didn't say that, but they kind of had that in this movie. They just a little differently. So, yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. But let's get into what we've been up to or what we've been watching here. Mike, have you been anything else other than Spider-Man?
Just that. I don't really think I saw anything else. Nope.
Okay.
Just Spider-Man.
Tony.
So Game of Thrones, obviously, which was pretty good. A lot of the episode, other than the intro, was pretty much just setting up the characters and kind of reminding you where everybody is or moving to, to move the chess pieces on the board, essentially. But I really like a lot of the character development, and even for characters that I kind of like hated in the beginning of the series, like I'm turning to like them now. In particular, like Jamie and the Hound and stuff. So even Sansa, I didn't care for Sansa now, and I think at this point she's one of the more level-headed and rational characters. So
would that be so awful? Whatever she said.
I know, right? Like, man, John. Because that's the thing. I was actually watching with Hap, and we're talking about it. And he's like, Sansa, you need to learn your place. I was like, dude, she has a point. And she started talking, and like literally right after I mentioned to Hap, like, the kindness or the whatever you want to call it cost both Ned and Robb their lives. And then Sansa flat out said it in the show. Ned and Robb were fantastic, but they made stupid mistakes. Yeah, I'm just like, thank you. Yeah, you get this. I mean, even though you kind of had a big part in your father's death, but whatever.
Well, I mean, it was out of her control, really. That's all on him. And she just was like enamored by the whole city life. She's a freaking country girl, and she gets to go to the big city. So yeah, I saw that as well. And just to jump in real quick, I did like it, and to reiterate what you were saying. It does a great job of kind of like saying, here's all the pieces on the chessboard. This is where they are. This is what they're going to be doing next. We get Daenerys finally hitting Westeros. And there's a moment I was like, is she going to go and kiss the ground? I want to see like a little Kevin Costner in the Prince of Thieves film. Like, is she going to be doing that? But yeah, I love that she doesn't have any like lines except for that one at the end and the credits roll. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
And it was interesting to see the Greyjoy guy.
Oh my god, he was just smack talking Jamie the whole time. He's like,
dude, that was some
I
of
got
the
both
best,
hands,
man.
And it cuts to Jamie. I'm like, wow, that's fucking savage as shit.
Like,
and then she's like, you murdered your own brother. Yeah, you should try it sometime. It's great. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was hilarious, and he knew he could just get away with it. She has nothing. Yeah. Like, he knew she has nothing to do. Like, she couldn't kill him because she would have nothing. Like.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. He was just trolling her, like trolling Jamie that way.
Yeah.
Basically. But yeah, I liked it. It was interesting to see Bran finally making it to the wall. And
no, it wasn't. I'll just give it there.
What I wanted to say is like it was interesting to see him finally make it back to the wall and then gone. Nope, we're done with you. You're gone. Like I was like, is he ever coming back? Like, is there going to be a raven coming? Like, hey, your brother's at the wall. Like, nope. Nothing. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then, like, was Tyrion, right? What's Peter Dinklage? That's his name. Probably the easiest million he's ever made. Like, no lines, just staring at people. Like, that was pretty funny just to see him like not say anything. But nobody said anything for them except for Daenerys at the end there. And what else happened? Oh, Ed Sheeran was in this, and apparently he had to like turn off his Twitter because he getting like harassed. And fine, I don't like care that he's in that. Like, but do you really have to go out of your way and harass somebody for being in like making a cameo?
Yeah, that was odd. I mean, I didn't care for it, but
it's out a little bit. But at the same time, like, who fucking cares? It was like these characters all look weird anyway, like
exactly
singing, and like it was a pretty interesting moment for Arya because you weren't sure if they were gonna do something. I mean, or like
I was telling Hapwell, every time Arya comes upon a group of people that aren't named characters, I have to think to myself, oh man, is she gonna have to kill these people for some arbitrary reason, or something's gonna just happen? She's gonna have to kill them.
A young girl traveling alone, bunch of dudes all by themselves. Like, what are they thinking? Who knows?
Yeah.
Although I have to say, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say the one thing I really didn't like though about the Ed Sheeran thing was like she's on her horse, trotting by, and she hears the song, and that's what brings her over, and she's like, it was kind of fourth wall break because she's like, oh, I've never heard that song before, and he goes, yeah, it's new, and like all it really needed was him to whisper like, available now on iTunes and Google Store.
Sure.
That's all it needed to happen to be like product placement.
Yeah, a little pop up in those side corners, like download now.
Yeah.
But I actually didn't like the Hound stuff, and I think it's more because like I feel like he's taking Stoneheart's place from the books, and I would rather see that storyline than see the Hound.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you had your moment and you did your stuff, but now I kind of want to see what happens with that, especially since we may never even get that. Who knows? Like we got teased with Cat and the Stoneheart stuff, but are we ever going to get to find out? Who knows? Like, because I have my doubts. I don't think we ever see the George R.R. Martin 7th book. I don't think he writes that.
Yeah.
And we may get it. It just might not be from him. So.
It's quite possible.
But, I mean, anything else, Tony?
Yeah, so I actually watched Ghost in the Shell, the Scarlett Johansson 2017 version.
All right.
Or 2016? I forget when it came out. Was it this year or last year?
I think it was this year.
Yeah, it was really this year. That's bad. I gotta say, as someone who's like mainly on the fence about it, it wasn't awful. It wasn't particularly good. There were good parts and there were bad parts, but
yeah, the thing is, like, it has a great source to pull from.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, how well did they, I guess, honor that and use what they needed to use to make a good film? Like,
I think the important parts were there, like the very memorable sequences from the animated movie were there, and seeing it in live action CGI is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I will say, I think Scarlett Johansson being in it, like, really
miscast.
It total miscast because, like, the whole time I'm like, yeah, this isn't Motoko, this is Scarlett Johansson.
She's too well known. She's too
right.
Known.
Exactly. She's too well known. Right.
Yeah, she's too recognizable. Definitely, right. I could see that for sure. Right. And I don't mind that she's a white actress playing a Japanese character, because Japanese characters a lot of times in anime aren't always Japanese. Right. But like, it's just the star power is actually too high.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But everybody else is pretty awesome. The casting is cool. I thought, the members of Section 9 meshed together really well. And, yeah, I mean, I would say it's worth a watch.
Oh, I might have to check that out then.
I mean, if you're just a fan, it's worth a watch just to see, like, you know what? There are scenes that you're going to like. I'm telling you, there's going to be scenes that you're like, really? And
it was a tough sell. Like, going into this, it was a tough sell, because that is such an obscure and, like, out there anime as well. Like, it's definitely one of the most well known, but kind of it gets out there. Like, it's not as far out there as Evangelion, but
nothing is as far out there as Evangelion. Getting the robot Shinji. I got a joke for the Gamecast later then, but I mean, I would say it's worth a watch. Like I said, I'd probably give it a 6.
Okay.
Which doesn't sound great, but if I were using like the full scale, 6. We're just like, okay, I didn't pay for it, so if I had paid for it in the theater, that probably would have been a bit more.
I mean, it's definitely worth like a red box or something.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, at the very minimum, because I love special effects and stuff like that, so seeing that world brought to, like I said, CGI life, that at the very bare minimum was worth, the 2 hours or whatever. So
cool.
Yeah, but yeah, that's about it for me.
All right, yeah, same for me there. It's the same as Mike. I Spider-Man, and then we talked about Game of Thrones. So I think that's gonna do it for the movie cast. So don't forget, you guys can definitely leave us any comments, questions at podcast@allyoucangeek.net. Rate us on iTunes, follow us on Twitter, check our Facebook out. and YouTube. Now, Jim's not on this podcast, so when Jim's not on this podcast, a lot of times the YouTube videos don't get posted. We'll see what we can do about this one, but I'm not making any promises this time because I will probably break them. But check us out on iTunes for sure. Subscribe there and rate us on iTunes if you can, because that definitely helps out. So with that, I'd like to say goodbye and Zombear.